And Brian Lawler, head coach of the LaVelle Lancers, joins us. Man, it's been a rough start for you guys so far. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I gotta feel like you thought it might be a little rocky here at the beginning, especially after all the guys you lost to graduation and trying to work in a lot of really young players. It's going to have its moments.
Yeah, we are a young team. We did lose a pretty good, solid senior class. But like you said, did not think it would be going this way. I think the roster is too good for the kind of lopsided scores we had these last few games. We just need to play a full game, play all 7 innings, and we should be able to get this thing turned around.
How did you feel about your off season? I mean, did it go the way you wanted? I'm sure you had guys out and working out. I mean, how did that go?
Yeah, it was good. We had, did all the stuff in the mornings through the fall and winter, bullpens, throwing live. First couple workouts outside were real good. Kind of got in the game, and at first we didn't pitch it really good, and now lately we haven't been feeling it really good. So we got to try to put it all together, But no, the off season was good. Early workouts were good. We just haven't had a chance to really get rolling yet.
And the way your pitching has gone, I mean, it's tough to fight from behind a lot. I mean, it seems like you've been behind early, and sometimes that has a way of taking the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, we're letting mistakes just kind of snowball, right, and keep affecting on that bat in the field in that bat. Kind of like you make that mistake, and the whole team just kind of air goes out of the sail. So we got to find a way to kind of let those teams go, make the next play, pick each other up, stay together as a team. I still believe our team's good enough, not to be going the way it is.
You got some really good guys, good leaders too. I mean, Braden Schwitz and Foster Gonzalez are all really solid kids off the field as well as on it, and it just seems like they can help you turn that around too.
Yeah, and they will. They will. We'll lean on them. Kind of told them the other night, we just got to stay together, start picking each other up. We just haven't really got the confidence out there yet, with some of those early tough losses. And so we just got to find a way to – we played some good baseball at times, so we just got to find a way to put it all together.
How do you gain that confidence? I mean, that's got to be frustrating to you that, you see something they don't right now and figuring out a way to get them to see what you see.
Right. We had a good comeback game. We didn't win it, but we came back against Manchester and won it at extra innings. We fought a little bit back against Caston there a little bit. We played 5 good innings last night. The 6th inning just kind of, fell apart. So we got to find a way to see the positive in those first 5 innings and kind of build on that, right, and try to play a complete game.
Yeah, I talked to John a little bit earlier, and he said, talking about tonight, he said, you guys got to put this out of your head. I said, it was a 3-0 game. They were right with us, and it's going to be a different game tonight.
Right. We were 3-0, and we had some chances there, first and second, 1 out, 2 innings. We didn't get the big hit, so you never know what could have happened. That's kind of been our problem too. We haven't gotten ahead. We've always come from behind or been behind, so that kind of that makes it tough. It's just kind of that whole, here we go again. So we just gotta play a whole game, play all phases of the game, and we have a lot of baseball left. So we think we can get this thing going in the right direction.
You mentioned it earlier a little bit too, the way sometimes those things just snowball. And the time I saw you play against Plymouth, once again, it was that 1 inning where it just. One thing led to another, and that's tough.
Yeah, it is, and it's like how do you stop it?
Yeah.
Because everybody's feeling it, and we keep telling them let it go, forget about it, but it's gonna affect you a little bit, right? Like nobody wants to make mistakes, but we got to figure out a way just to make the next one. Have our teammates pick each other up. So that's going to be our focus, or has been our focus the last couple of days, and that's going to be it moving forward. Pick each other up, stay together as a team. We have a lot of baseball left.
I was going to say it is a long season in a short amount of time, but that one of the things is that I love about this game is there's always another at bat, there's always another chance. I mean, you just got to keep pushing.
That's right. You got to keep pushing, keep competing, right? We got to compete the whole time. We've had, I feel like I keep saying this, but we've just had, every mistake just kind of affects us, right? We got to let it go and we got to get the next one. That's what we're going to keep preaching to these guys, and hopefully we can get it turned around.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. Talk a little bit about tonight. I mean, when you look at Glenn, what do you see when you see them?
Yeah, that's a solid team. It's going to take us to play a complete game and then be good in all phases of the game. We're going to need some timely hitting. We know it's going to be tough. We'll have our senior going tonight. Hopefully we can get some good starting pitching. Hopefully we can, not let that one big inning affect us or not give up that one big inning.
Once again, man, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. Good luck to you tonight, and I guess we'll see you in a little while.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's Brian Lawler, the head coach at LaVille. And Libby Miller, the Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week, joins me here for a quick little chat. Libby, tell me, I'm watching your stuff. I know you've been doing this for a long time. Cross country with Coach Norman, now Coach Stiles, and track. You've been doing this for your whole career, and you're having a really great senior year. Tell me, do you feel like that's a reward for the hard work you put in?
Yeah, it's actually my junior year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I still have yeah.
So you're still having a lot of success.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My cross country season went really well this year. I was excited to advance to state and just get some good times in, some good races, and then this track season has been going pretty smoothly. Just been enjoying it and getting some points for the team. It's been great, yeah.
No, talk about this a little bit too. I mean, you're at this level now. And the reason that I highlighted just because 4 first place finishes in your first meet of the year, that's pretty solid, and you've been on that pace all year long. I mean, if you're to this point, what are you thinking about as you go into your senior year?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the season, we've just not going into championship season yet. We haven't had too much high level racing yet, so. I've just been going out and getting as many points for the team, which has definitely helped with beating Warsaw this year, which was really great. It's been a while since we've done that, but looking into my senior year, I just hope that I can do as much as I can for the team and just keep getting stronger and just work up my endurance to be able to complete so many races in one go.
Let's talk about the team a little bit. You're unbeaten. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since the girls' track team has been at that point. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's really great. I think we have a really strong team this year in all of our events. So the sprints, of course, Alana, we've got Hayden. All of those girls are doing really well. And the distance team, it's a little bit smaller this year, but it's really strong what we have. So I'm excited for the new freshmen we have, like Brooklyn and Riley. They've been doing really well, and I'm just excited to see what we can do this season.
You mentioned you haven't had a lot of high-level racing done yet, but I mean, in the track season, you've got 3 wins in the NLC, Warsaw, Concord, Northridge. I mean, you guys have been challenged. It's not like you've gotten this easy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely Northridge and Warsaw were challenging, but I think just getting out there, and Coach Stiles is really great at doing the math and getting us into the best position possible.
You mentioned Northridge, and they're usually really strong in cross country too, so I imagine you run across them a lot.
Yes, there's a lot of really good runners on that team, and it's really fun to go out there and just see people that you've raced against for so many years,
Talk about the team aspect of track too, because I mean, it's not, if you're talking about a sport like baseball or basketball or softball or something like that. I mean, there's definitely team elements, but you guys are all individuals. What's that chemistry? I mean, you still need to have that, don't you?
Yeah, honestly, I think that the team dynamic is even better in individual sports, especially with track. We're all running different events and stuff, so it's really great to be able to cheer each other on in all of our events and but also have that like individual goals as well. I think we're all really well centered on our team goal, of course, trying to win sectionals this year and all of that. But I think the more we focus on the team, the better we are individually.
Talk about your individual goals for the year. I mean, what would you like to see when the season is over? What are you aiming at?
Yeah, I think the main goal right now is definitely to advance to state again this year. That'd be wonderful. I'm still trying to decide between the mile and 2 mile what my focus is, probably leaning towards the mile, just because I feel like I have a stronger chance of competing well in that. And I just really want to get down, hopefully near those records that we've got going on. So, yeah, I've got a lot coming up this year.
With you, it's a little different too. I mean, we should put this in perspective. I mean, what 3,200, 1,600, and what's the other individual? 800.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so how many miles is that in one night?
Okay. So my max that I normally do would be 4 miles racing. So the 4x8 mile, 800 and 2 mile. So it's definitely a lot.
I was going to say, you got some girls on your team. They're done in 10 seconds. I mean, they run 100
Yeah.
yards. You're running miles every night. That has got to take a toll.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little more difficult as the night goes on, especially for the 2 mile. It's like pretty much the last event. There's a 4x4 afterwards, but that's normally my last event. And sometimes that's difficult just to get out there and really put down a hammer on that. But
Talk
yeah.
about the strategy of that for you too, because I'm sure you got to pick where you're going to do what, if you're going to work harder here or work harder there. I mean, you probably got to pick your battles over the course of the night, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. My coach, my distance coach, Coach Nordman, he does a really great job at telling me like what to focus on what day and just like how it'll stack up against the competitors. So some days I'll focus on getting a really great mile, and then some days I try to throw it down in the 800 or the 2 mile. Yeah, it just really depends on what the team needs and how it can like affect me further down the road for championship season.
And there's strategy within the race too, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, since there's so many laps, there's a lot of like pacing and trying to like get certain splits for every lap. It just depends on like who I'm racing against and if I'm running alone or with like some competition.
You know, I think you just mentioned something that kind of made me think. I mean, knowing another runner and knowing how they run and the kind of race they want to run. I'm sure you're watching your competitors, trying to size them up. Are they going to go? What are they going to do? And then you respond.
Yeah, typically I don't really go too far into researching my competitors. Sometimes I feel like it gets me a little too nervous before a race. But I mean, you can tell like within the first 200 like what the race is going to look like. Some meets it's like we'll go out really easy and get the last lap it'll be a sprint to the finish, and then sometimes we take it out hard and just see how that takes us. Yeah. Just depends on the race. They're all so different really every time.
Talk about your training too. I mean, you know, what do you normally have to run in a night to stay in shape to do what you do on meet night?
Yeah, so we have all sorts of different workouts that we'll do. So some days we have long runs, which are typically during track season, it's a little bit shorter for me. So maybe like 6 to 8 miles, it depends. And then we've got recovery days just for light mileage, maybe 4 or 5 miles. Today I only had to run 3, so that was nice. And then for workouts, it really depends on what Nordman's focusing on. Right now, he has a big focus on the 4x8 because we have a really strong team. So we've been doing a lot of speed workouts and such, but then also tempos and thresholds to work up that endurance.
You know, how do you? I'm thinking so far as injury. I mean, you know, you. It seems like there would be a lot of chance of that. Maybe overdoing it one night or whatever. I mean, how do you take care of yourself?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of chance for like shin splints
Oh yeah.
and IT band syndrome. Just from running so many laps around a track, it starts to wear down on your body for sure. But our coach is really good about starting us in moderation because I swim in the winter, and
Hmm.
so going from that like swimming no land like contact at all to running, it definitely you have to start a little slower and cross training like ice baths, things like that. Just taking it slow is really the best way you can prevent that injury.
I understand that. I was a swimmer when I was in high school and coming out for
Mhm.
baseball then after swimming on that hard surface, that shin splints every year right away.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
And we also try to run a little bit on the grass, just a softer
Yeah.
surface normally just helps combat that, all those issues. Yeah.
In that way, do you feel maybe cross country might be easier on your body? I mean, not to say it's easier because you're running in the woods and doing all kinds of other things with that, but you know, so far as your legs go, you're not going to have to worry about that pounding on a hard surface.
Yeah, I would say cross country is a little easier on the body, especially because we have such a long time to train in the summer, so we can really like ease up on our mileage, and then just being on the grass helps a lot.
How do you train in the summer?
Training in the summer normally begins like a week after my track season ends, or maybe two. We start with light mileage ish, but then we just start racking it up, mostly just trying to build endurance in the summer. So getting those long runs up pretty high. But then once the season starts, we start doing more like speed work and really trying to hone in on our race strategy.
What made let's talk about you a little bit. What made you decide that you wanted to? I'm not a runner, so I've never ever thought to myself, "Wow, I really want to go out and just run for 2 miles." I mean, what, what, where was it that you decided you wanted to do this?
Yeah, I actually joined cross country in fifth grade. It was kind of
Mm.
just a random thing. I was playing basketball at the time, so I just wanted something to keep me in shape for that. But I ended up really falling in love with the sport, and it just honestly just running and going out with the team really brings me a lot of peace, and like it really just helps me clear my head, and it's just something that I really enjoy. So I really just am so grateful that I get to be able to do it. Yeah.
I get the feeling this is something that is going to be lifelong for you.
For sure, yeah. I really hope to run in college, whether that's for a team or just as like a club sport or something. I definitely want to run for as long as I can. It's just something that really is important to me. Just yeah.
Do you ever think about coaching?
I've definitely thought about that. I really enjoy like being part of a team dynamic, and just like I always try to help everybody out, and just I think that would be definitely an option for me in the future.
Let's talk about you a little bit, the future a little bit. I mean, obviously you're planning on going to college. Did I hear that right?
Yes, yeah.
Have you made a decision or started looking any place in particular?
Not quite. I've been going on a lot of college visits and just trying to think about that. But major wise, I'm in between like a pre-med course or research sciences right now. So once I narrow down that like main major choice, I think it'll be easier to decide what kind of college would be right for me.
So, what's your favorite subject in school?
My favorite class right now is probably AP chemistry
Mm.
or calculus. I'm definitely more of a STEM oriented person. So yeah.
I always loved chemistry too. That was always one of my
Mhm.
favorite classes.
Yeah, it's a great class. I love it.
It always seemed like you could use your imagination a little bit in chemistry. Like, hey, maybe this would happen, and then go try it in the lab.
Yeah, it's always like a puzzle, which is what I really enjoy about it.
How about your family? You have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have one brother. He is He's a freshman in college right now. He goes to Purdue.
What,
So yeah,
what does he study?
he studies industrial design.
Oh.
So he does like all sorts of artistic art classes. He's a really smart guy. He's very STEM oriented, but he's also very artistic and like creative as well. So I think it really fits him.
What's his name?
McLean Miller, yeah.
Okay. How about your parents? What are their names?
Lisa Miller and Craig Miller. My dad, he's a family physician here in Plymouth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Now I know who you are a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think
sure you probably know him.
think your dad is my doctor. So
Really?
yeah, I think
No way.
so.
That's funny.
Small world, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now I even understand a little bit the thought maybe you might want to be a doctor. Would you like to be a doctor
Yeah.
like your dad?
He's definitely like influenced me in that way. Like I enjoy hearing all the things that he has to say, and he's very knowledgeable about the subject, of course. So it's made it easier for me to like pursue that path.
Well, Libby, I want to thank you for letting us get to know you a little bit here. Congratulations, and
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure we'll be talking again here soon.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
And we're joined by Brian Hammond, the head coach of the Plymouth Lady Pilgrim softball team. Man, you've had a good week.
Since Tuesday, it's been great.
I mean, in the course of this, you got a no hitter right before the weekend at Ivy, and then you got a conference win in a weird situation. You knew Mishawaka was going to be tough. I mean, it's been a good week for you guys.
Yeah, we've discovered a lot about ourselves, and then we were able to take Tuesday after that loss and regroup, work on some things defensively at practice, try to figure out what our defensive swaps were going to be, and we knew Concord would be a tough game as well, and we just put it to the test early with what we figured out Tuesday and what we learned on Monday about ourselves, and it's worked out great the last 2 days.
You're hitting the ball really well. I mean, as a team, 358, but you got 500 and 400 hitters all the way up and down your lineup. I mean, you're scoring runs. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, just a surprise name out there. Kylie Waldrop finally got her chance to be in the lineup, and she delivered Wednesday night with that triple. She scorched that right fielder up in Concord and scored 3 runs and kind of busted the game open for us. And once hitting's contagious, so
Yeah.
once they girls see that, I mean, then the balls just start flying. And the next inning we just score even more runs because the girls got in their heads that if Kylie Waldrop is hitting as a freshman, we're all upperclassmen, we're gonna be hitting. So yeah, I mean, Lexi Pike last night against Riley was really good. And then, you got to expect Ivy and Lily and Gracie to get their hits. Kendall's, right up there with them, doing her part. Couple spots to secure. We can find 7, 8 hole hitters. We're going to be deadly.
Who's playing best for you right now?
Well, that's tough. There's a lot to go around, we did make a defensive swap where we moved Lily over to shortstop. We got Mackenzie Ganser in a second to free up Chloe. We learned a lot about her on Tuesday at practice. She is playing really well, has really embraced the role of being the new center fielder for us. Ivy and Gracie are both dealing on the mound. I think this week alone in 3 games, even dating back to last Friday's win against Taylor, I think we have maybe 4 walks in 4 games. I mean, and lots of strikeouts, right? So, yeah. I mean, those 2 right there are just putting us in games. But and then we kind of shifted. They're kind of swapping out at first, and Ivy dug a few out the other day. And I mean, all around, I mean, nobody really stands out because a lot of them are just playing really well right now.
You mentioned defense in the preseason, and you mentioned it again this week. I mean, finding those pieces to go in the right spot is a process, isn't it?
Yeah, and we talked about that as a team early on, and I know I've talked to you and the guys over at the Pilot about, we're gonna have to shift girls around until we figure out what our defensive lineup looks like, and then figure out, if we need to hit for somebody with the flex or DP or whatever it may be. And we're getting close. We're getting really close to having that locked in. I think we might be one piece, 1.5 piece to the puzzle left here. Yeah, it's worked out really well, because I mean those are two big wins that we got, Concord and Riley back-to-back nights. Those are programs that are pretty good every year, annually really good. And I know that Plymouth in the past has struggled. I don't know when the last time I saw them beat Riley was. So I mean, and that was pretty decisive last night, right? We kind of controlled that game from the start. So yeah, it's still a process. We're still going to try a few new things and see if we can't find that last piece or last one or two pieces. And once we find those, we should be locked in, ready.
Becomes even more interesting, I think, when you got both of your pitchers also are going to play the field. So, asking a pitcher to win a game when not everybody on the field is maybe the best defensive player, that you got somebody filling in for a night or whatever, that becomes an interesting situation too.
Yeah, I mean, if we go with, and here's the thing, it's nice because Ivy and Gracie can pretty much play wherever they want on that field. They're utility players. I mean, we have a couple of girls like that. I mean, Lily Runyon, outside of pitching, could probably play any position we needed to, including catch. She was kind of our backup catcher to start the season this year, because we weren't sure what freshman we were going to bring with us. And so, Chloe's kind of becoming utility. Like, she's playing outfield, she's playing shortstop. We could probably put her at third. So yeah, we've got lots of options everywhere. It's just figuring out where those other pieces go, and then we can fill in the blanks with those utility players, because we can pretty much put them anywhere.
In your pitching, I got to be honest. Gracie was going to be good. You knew that, but I really didn't expect her to get the number of strikeouts she seems to be getting. I mean, she's turning into a power pitcher.
Yeah, I think what's happened is, the nice thing is sometimes when you kind of expect going into the season, she kind of expected, hey, I'm probably going to be the ace for us. We're not sure what other pitcher we're going to have, and last year she probably had the edge on Fergie a little bit, so she kind of felt comfortable in her role and knew where she stood with us. But when you bring Ivy, when Ivy transfers, right, and she comes over, now all of a sudden you have a little bit of a competition of who's gonna do the better job, right? And we talked to them. Like, I grabbed them both early and I said, hey, this isn't like who's supposed to be the number one. This is how hard can we push each other to be the best pitcher. Oh, okay. So Ivy went out and got 12 strikeouts tonight, so I'm going to go out and get 13 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just try to outdo each other and just keep pushing each other. And over in Concord, and it was kind of like, I kind of gave Ivy the old, you ready to go? Because it got interesting there for a minute. And I kind of saw Gracie's face, and we had 8-9 top, and I said, hey, go give me 3 outs right now. And she went out there and she started. She took that as I'm not coming out of this game, and I'm gonna finish this one strong. And she did. She got like, I think 4 or 5 more strikeouts in the last 2 innings, and we kind of noticed a little pep in her step. And so it's nice, right? Like, they get to push on each other, and they both get to make each other better. That's the great thing about it.
It's got to be really nice sitting in your chair when you got 2 people like that too, because you really don't have a 1. You got a 1 and a 1A or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, you got 2, and one's right-handed, one's left-handed. I mean, then best of all possible worlds, it seems.
I would imagine that most softball coaches go to bed dreaming of the situation that I'm sitting in, because we didn't think we'd be in this situation. And I mean, what a nice surprise. I mean, I try not to get on it too much, but and a lot of people ask me about it, and the secret's out now, right? Like, everybody knows what we're bringing to the table, but it makes me look a lot better at my job than I probably am. So I mean, and especially when we're hitting the ball the way we are, and when we're pitching the way we are, and we win these games the way we do, the coaching staff. We're not doing a whole lot. I mean, we hit a lot of gap fly balls Tuesday night to figure out who's going to be our outfield, but I mean, it's it makes our job easy, and it makes us look probably better than we are most nights. So.
It looks like you're developing some depth as well. I mean, you're getting a lot of names out there and getting them on the field.
Yeah, we've had to do a few shifts. I know, like normally Brenna LaFoon's on the field for us, and she had a choir competition against Riley, so we had to make a few adjustments. And having two freshmen on the field was not something that we were keen on early in the season, but the nature of the beast is when people struggle, you got to try somebody else. And we, to be honest, there's still some freshmen down there that we're toying with the idea of, bringing up at some point maybe and seeing what they're capable of. But yeah, I mean, when Waldrop hits the 3-run triple against Concord, she kind of penciled, permanent markered her name into the lineup. So, and she's one of those girls right now, limited sample size, but already batting over 400, and she's very patiently aggressive at the plate. So it's from a freshman standpoint, they normally get out there and they see that faster pitching, that varsity level pitching, and they just start swinging at everything. And she's been pretty patient and picks her pitches, and she's gotten some bases, walks. So yeah, she's doing great, and it's nice to see.
So what you're telling me is the future is bright too.
Yeah, I mean, I could go into depth with the 8th grade class if you want, but I mean, we've got another pitcher coming. I mean, next year there might be 1A, 1B, and B, so or 2. So, I mean, yeah, it's looking good. So we just keep our keep beating it one foot in front of the other, and keep working with these kids that are coming up, and hopefully the well never dries up, but sometimes you have that.
I've always heard coaches say that winning makes everything better. And you've had some wins here. You're on a little bit of a streak. I mean, what's that done for you? Morale wise.
Yeah, I mean, the girls are always happy when they win. I mean, so especially the Riley one. When that's a game that's been ugly in the past, and I know some of our seniors have been a part of those ugly games. I know Ivy, when she was at Argus last year, Riley kind of put it on them, and I looked at them last night. It feels good to get those redemption wins, and so it helps us stay loose. It helps us stay, not so tense, and we can get out there and just play our game. And it always helps when the bats are producing runs, especially when you're a pitcher, right? It's always easier to pitch when you're up. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, morale's good. And we got a lot of smiles right now. And we were worried about that after the way the Mishawaka game went, and defensively we weren't at our best. So it was nice to see a bounce back win. We definitely took charge on Tuesday, and like we've talked about, it's a process. One foot in front of the other. So keep the smile on. Let's keep playing. So it's been good.
Well, you don't have an easy week coming up either. I mean, 3 more conference games. Looks like 2 of them are actually on the road too, at Goshen and Warsaw. Looking ahead, I mean, what are you going to have to do this week to stay on this run?
Oh, we just got to keep the bats going. I'm not sure. I know what Warsaw's going to have. Eastwood's going to pitch well. She's probably not going to walk you. She's probably going to throw you a lot of moving stuff. She doesn't throw it real hard, but her stuff moves. And we struggled with that last year a little bit, even though we got a win over there. So we gotta be ready to make adjustments with her. I'm not sure what Goshen's bringing to the plate pitching wise, but I know they've played some solid defense. They've got some girls that can hit, and that's not going to be an easy one. I think we beat them 3-1 last year over at their place. So we know that they're and Russ over there, Claxton, he's a good coach. He's really starting to build a little bit of a program over there. So, and I think we have Wawasee too after that game, I believe.
Yep.
And I know Wawasee's new coach has them playing well. They got one of their girls back last year that they didn't have due to some health issues. So, and she's really good, and she's a junior this year. And they're playing well. They actually beat Northridge, so we got to be ready to. No, sorry, Goshen is who beat Northridge. So, yeah, I mean, both of those games are going to be tough. So,
Yeah.
we gotta keep pitching well, keep the bat moving, and I think we'll be in all those games.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Good luck to you as the week goes on, and we'll be in touch soon.
All right, thank you.
It's Brian Hammond, the head coach of the Plymouth Lady Pilgrims. John Nadolny joins me in this section of the coaches show, and man, you had we're doing this the night before the game, so you had a nice win tonight.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit. I mean, obviously, the bats got well.
Bats got well, but the biggest thing for me, and I was trying to, the last two games that we lost, we walked 20 guys total.
Ooh.
And so the big thing was in the bullpens, we kind of talked about, attacking the strike zone more, things like that. We were a little nitpicky. And so we didn't walk anybody tonight. And, it was a 3-0 ball game till we broke it open in the sixth. He didn't walk anybody tonight. It was through Colin Hamill threw a beautiful ball game tonight. No walks. He got a little trouble with first and second, their best hitter up. And he got, he threw to the strike zone, got him to pop out, and it's bigger than, we were just walking way too many guys. And, it just took us out of the last game and let the other team come back. Knox came back against us last Friday. So the biggest thing is I'm glad, we need to hit better. We did that tonight, but our pitching, and we played some nice defense behind them. But the biggest thing is we didn't walk anybody.
Yeah, I'm looking at Hamill's numbers right now, and he's got 12 strikeouts, which is nice, but 11 walks. It's not going to get it done.
Yeah, his ball moves quite a bit, but he got a little off. Didn't have a good breaking pitch the other night, and he got a little wild with his fastball. I don't know what his stats were tonight, other than he had 0 walks. That's all I cared about. Didn't give him any freebies, didn't give him any extra chances that way, and because I was really tired of seeing it the last 2 games, man. I was really sick of it.
Well, and you're no different than any other baseball coach I've ever talked to. They talk about freebies, free bases. What did we give them? Errors, walks. Those are the things that you need to control if you're going to have a winning team.
Right, that's exactly right. You can win. I mean, you just all the great teams do not walk people, and then when you walk or when you throw strikes, your defense is going to be on their toes a little more, and it's just a good combination.
Yeah, and I know a lot of coaches who even throw wins and losses in ERA out with a pitcher. They look at WHIP, which is base runners per innings pitched, but the other one is strikeouts to walks ratio, and they want to see 3-1.
Yeah, I'm okay with 2-1. But, especially in high school, but 3-1's awesome. But when you look at stats and you don't know anything about a pitcher or you never seen a throw, and if that's a strikeout to walk ratio is the biggest thing, and with to the innings pitched for me, and that's if he's a little bit more wild, he might give you a few more things. He'll fall behind in a count. You might get some better swings on him too. So that's the kind of thing I look at when I don't really know anything about the team we're playing or any of their players. If I see a stat sheet on Max Preps or whatever, I look at innings pitched and I look at strikeouts to walks.
Yeah, and that makes the huge differences because those are free bases that you're giving up, free runners, and as well as I do, every runner is a chance to score.
Yeah, no doubt.
How do you feel about your pitching overall? I mean, you've got some good solid arms. It looks like you've had some good outings.
Yeah, I mean, Archer Russ first start. He didn't give up a hit, 10 strikeouts and no walks. I think 4 innings or 5 innings. Tanner Trop has thrown very, very well for us. He has 1 start and a couple, relief appearances. He's done very nice job for us. And then Hamill tonight, and then Jake Ducka threw a really nice complete game against Washington Township. So we just had a little. I'm hoping today we turned it around. We had a little glitch there. We had some game spaced out with rain. I don't know if that affected us a lot. We had to go back inside. I'm not making an excuse. We just didn't throw strikes.
Yeah.
Those 2 games, that was the big thing why we lost the ball game.
You got to feel pretty solid about where you're going. You got some, Hamill, you knew was going to be there for you. Ducka, he's new to me. I don't remember seeing him play. You knew Archer was going to be good. It looks like you got a solid bunch.
I love the 4 sophomores. I really do. I can't wait for them to develop, as in the next 2 this year and into the next 2 years, get physically stronger. And, the more you put them out with the experience, you're hoping they can be really dominant.
Let's talk about them a little bit at the plate too. I mean, you've got your guys that you knew. Benwell was going to be a player. He's hitting pretty well for you in the early going here. But, your sophomores, you've got some guys that are hitting the ball well as well. I mean, Archer was going to be there, but you got some other guys contributing.
Yeah, tonight Mackay finally broke out of it a little bit. We've had some injury. Our 4-hitter has not batted since the second or third game of the year. He's concussed. So he was our biggest RBI guy last year. He's right in the middle of the lineup. And Mackay he's a junior. Hamill is pitching with a torn rotator cuff on his left shoulder. He would have been in our lineup this year. We would have been really strong with him in there. That would have gave us 7 really deep guys. We're heavy sophomores, with our group. My little catcher, Bryce Round, has had a couple nice RBI base hits in the 9th spot. And like I said, Archer's been hitting pretty well. Very consistent, steal some bases and things. And that, it's been we just try to just get some guys on, move people. We don't have a lot of power. We're not a big power team, but we just got to get guys on and keep moving them. So Gavin Bone had a nice night tonight. He had been struggling he'd been getting on with some walks. His on base was pretty good. He struggled a little bit early to get hits, and he got a couple tonight, and he hit the ball hard the other 2 times that he made out. So, it was a nice overall effort for us. We really Aaron Turnage had 2 hits tonight. He finally broke out of about an 0 for 15 little slump he was in. We've got some guys that are younger that are, contributing for us.
Well, you mentioned Mackay, and, he hasn't started the way you probably hoped he would, but, he's one of those guys. He's a lifer. He's going to be there by the end of it.
Yeah, he's going to hit. He had a little bit of a hip flexor, a pull, and we had to sit him a game with he couldn't get his legs into it,
Yeah.
So we had to sit him, get him better. And a couple of the rainouts kind of helped him a little bit heal, as far as, I think his legs are starting to feel a little bit, a lot stronger. And, when you don't have your legs under you, it's not a good thing. So tonight he was feeling better, and he swung the bat a lot better, and the ball came off his bat very nice.
Going to say, I saw you had another Polium in your roster here when I was putting stuff in for the game on Friday, and I'm like, yeah, I felt sorry for him until I saw he's got another Polium on the roster. He's got some DNA going on. You guys got some things going for a while.
Yeah, Easton's a little fresh. He's freshman. He got a couple at bats in tonight. I think he walked and got hit by a pitch. He started an inning with a walk, and he's up and coming. He's a pretty good guy on JV. He's got about 5 varsity at bats in right now, and so he gets in when we had a couple guys. I put everybody in tonight. He pinched hit for the first. I had another freshman, Gadet. was DHing for a couple at bats, and I gave Easton a couple of at bats, and so yeah, I'm stuck with the Williams for another 4 years.
Talk about that a little bit, though. I mean, you're 4-3 to start. You're over 500, but you're unbelievably young. You got to feel really good about where this is going by the end of the year, and then on into the next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it took us. We were, if you want to compare last year to this year, I think we were 3-10 at one time last year, and after 7 games, we're at 4. And really, to be truthful with you, we should be probably 6-1 or 7-0. To be truthful with you, if like I said, if we wouldn't have, had some walks, but that's high school ball. We are what we are. We're 4-3. I'm very happy with our progress right now in certain things, and but they're all, we have a lot of things to work on still. Being young, sometimes you don't know how to close out a game. You get a little lackadaisical on certain things, and we just have to brush up and get tougher a little bit. When you got to lead, you got to put them down. You got to step on their throat, put them down. But that's where, like I said, the walks that's the little bit of the inexperience pops in every now and then. You see it, and you let teams back in ball games, or you get close, come back, and you kind of you let them slide. First 2 guys walk, or we make an error in a walk, or whatever the situation. We've kind of let some teams get back into ball games that way, and that's the young part of it. Now you see, like I said, it's exciting because you see some really good things too, and that's where in the next couple of years, man, I'm hoping that we are going to be pretty good.
Well, let's add to that. You mentioned it there in that little stretch, is that one of the hardest things to teach a young guy is that you absolutely can't. I know this is a very violent analogy, but you can't take your foot off their throat. You have to keep going until the game is over. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to teach a young player.
Yeah, they say, it's a let up thing, and you see it in all sports.
Yeah,
Teams up 25 at half in football, or and all of a sudden, or basketball in the fourth quarter, and you kind of relax a little bit, and you kind of get out of your rhythm or your focus, and all that, and you kind of just can't do that, and that's something we got to be a little better at. We're getting better at it. Like I said, tonight we had a 3-0 ball game. They didn't get back in it. Then we crushed. It was a big win. So we had a huge 6th inning. So it's a growing thing. You'll learn. If you learn from it, your mistakes and what you haven't done well, then we're okay. But if we keep doing it, then that's an issue. You got to learn from your mistakes, and I think we show it. We're starting to show it more and more. So. Hopefully we keep progressing every time we get on the field. Let's hope the rain stays away.
You got that right. Talk about that too, the start and stop. And you have the one guy I feel sorry for is Aaron Perch over at Bremen. They didn't play a game till last week. You've been a little luckier. What is that like navigating that?
The rainouts, I think everybody's really sick of going back inside. I mean, the one game we were ready to play, we took our infield right at the end. They pulled us off because there was lightning. The other team is coming in. They had kind of came in already, and then it just poured. Like we waited the 20 minutes we had to wait to go back on the field, and then it just in between that time. It was a monsoon, and so you're ready to play, and then it's disappointing. You just go on to the next day, and it's frustrating sometimes. The kids, nobody wants to go back in the gym after after a certain time. It's like, no way. But you got to go in and get your swings and whatever else you want to do. Yesterday we worked on a little bit of a pickoff move. Worked on little things that are kind of fun that I added something to it. So it kind of you got to catch their attention a little more and get them excited about something. every now and then instead of just going and swinging and getting ground balls or whatever. So we worked a little bit on, because yesterday was a situational day for us,
Yeah.
and then we couldn't get it in, because we weren't outside. It poured down here for like an hour and 15 minutes, and
Yep.
it flooded our field, so we couldn't get on it. So, yeah, it's been frustrating. I know some teams, they had the game scheduled before their spring break. The weather was bad, and then spring break comes, and they did, they don't play during spring break. And you come back, and there's more rain, and before all of a sudden you're opening your season up with a conference game. And
Yeah.
it's like it's not a fun thing.
Let's talk about your conference situation too, because you play back-to-back nights. Now you played LaVille tonight, you got the win. Now they're coming over to your place tonight, which will be tonight when we play this.
Right.
How do you like that? Is that good for you?
I don't mind it. I'm not crazy about it being so close to the weekend. I kind of wish we would play like a Tuesday, Thursday with if it rains on Wednesday, Tuesday, you can play on Wednesday, or I don't like, because we play every weekend,
Right.
and so you're gonna, if you use 2 pitchers a day let's say in your conference, you get into some issues, and Saturday games are hard to get. You really have to swing the bat on Saturdays to get some runs as your backside of your pitching staff. It's usually, they're going to give up some stuff. And so I'm not crazy that it's so close to the weekend, that it's right on the weekend. I hope they change it sometime down the road. I don't mind playing back to back. I don't care if we play Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right.
But I'm not crazy. I don't know why they went. I just show up, we play. But Thursday, Friday is a little tight for the weekend.
Yeah.
We're playing. It's a lot of games in a row. I mean, and you talk about rainouts. Like, we play today, we play tomorrow. We go to Hanover Central Saturday. We have a makeup with Knox on Monday, and then we're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday again. There's one day of practice in there, and so the rainouts are, either going to get them in or you're not. You're going to have to play a lot of games. I ain't complaining about it. So,
Yeah.
but it's been a frustrating year for everybody trying to play games so far.
Let's talk about LaVille a little bit. You've had a chance to see them. They're coming over. I mean, not back-to-back, night-to-night thing. What about them? Obviously, they've got a couple of really good players. Braden Schwitz is, anytime he's on the mound, they got a chance to win. I mean, they've got some good guys, and playing them back-to-back, as well as I do, it could be a completely different game tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, I warned them after the game. I said, hey, this is 3-0 game going into the 6th inning. I mean, you had a ball game, and don't think that this whatever it ended up, 17, 18, whatever, to nothing, is going to be tomorrow. And because I said, you're going to see Switz, who's a senior, throws harder, a lot. He's an experienced kid, and it changes the whole dynamics. And so we got to come out swinging the bats tomorrow. We got to get another pitch ball game we're going to throw Archer Russ tomorrow, and it's a different. You got to win. It's a 48-hour win. You got to win 48 hours.
Yeah.
You just got to have that mentality. You got the first one, great, but now they're coming to our place. You got to put them down. You got to, you got to sweep now. And so it's just like with Knox, we went over there, lost the game. We should have won, and they're coming to our place now. We got it. We have to take that home win and get back even with them, at least 50-50. So, I think tomorrow is going to be today was a tight ball game. You look at the score and you go, oh, no, you're nuts. But it just got broke. It got, one of those games that got crazy.
Yeah.
With the dam broke, and we scored a lot of runs in one inning. But it was a tight ball game up until, going into the top of the 6th.
Well, man, I want to wish you good luck, and thanks for taking the time, and we'll see you Friday night.
Okay, thanks for having me.
That is John Nadolny, the head coach at John Glenn. Ryan Wolf, head coach of the Plymouth Pilgrims, joins us. Man, no other way to put it. It's been a tough week.
Yeah, we just can't seem to kind of put everything together. I thought early on, speaking of the season, early on we swung it well and maybe struggled a little bit in defensively and whatnot. But I think, this week's been the opposite. We played pretty well and pitched well enough to win. We just can't score runs. And the Mishawaka, we left some guys on. The Concord game, we really had good approaches. We had a really good practice Tuesday night. Had a good long talk. They're kids and they got to kind of refocus every so often above the shoulders. We have a lot of tools below the shoulders. But being able to refocus and reset and kind of have an approach, talked a lot about, it's more of what you think's coming rather than what you hope's coming, as far as the pitch. So I thought we had some really good at-bats. We struck out 4 times against a pretty good pitcher. Hit a lot of balls right at Concord. It was almost like, they didn't move. And seriously, I haven't seen a game like that and I'm not just saying that. So I thought we had a really, really good approaches. And again, defensively, played well enough at a one hiccup, but other than that, we got to score more than 1 run and 2 runs in a ball game, and it'll come. We'll put it together.
It seems like and I've just got mostly the numbers, but the consistency from top to bottom, every night in, night out. I mean, one night a guy's hot, he has a great game for you. The next night, maybe not so much. One night pitching is there, the other, and then the bats aren't there. I mean, it's just been one of those up and down, weird, what's going to go wrong today kind of seasons.
Yeah, we got to figure that out because it doesn't get any easier as we move forward, and no one feels sorry for us. And we just gotta kind of stay even keel. I thought we were, like I said early on, just anxious and so forth. And I think we've settled into some things a little bit. But yeah, the consistency part of things, continuing to add good at bats upon good at bats, and if one doesn't go well, like not carry it to the next one. I mean, those are all cliche things, but in the game of baseball, there's just a lot of downtime, and again, we're still getting, like I said, at the Concord game, I was really pleased with our at bats. I really was, and how we handled some of the things and how hard we hit the ball. But yeah, it comes down to runs. We got to push runs across. If it comes down to trying to maybe figure out other ways to execute, whether we bunt or kind of play a little bit smaller ball. Still maneuvering the lineup around a little bit in between guys that get on base versus guys that drive runs in. I mean, that was kind of our Achilles heel for a few games here, is just leaving guys on base. Our middle of the order's got to drive runs in, and I challenged them on Tuesday night. Like, guys, we got to have a mentality when we get up there, especially with 2 outs. Like, I'm getting these runs in. Like, I'm figuring a way to get these guys in. And things happen. Again, we hit some balls hard and right at them. That's baseball. But to go up there and hit a little dribbler or pop up, or we just got to have some better approaches. I thought we did Wednesday. Hopefully we continue to carry it over because, you lose a few games here. It's a long, grinding season, and I told the kids on the bus after the Concord game, just keep showing up. Like that, it's going to turn around. Like, keep showing up. I mean, I want to win more than anyone, and I know they do too. And when you start pressing and trying to do some things that maybe you can't do, or you should let someone else do, or you just kind of do what you do to the best of your ability, and we'll put it all together and keep showing up. And we're excited to get back out there tonight.
You got some guys, too, that are having really uncharacteristically slow starts in key spots, too. And am I right? You've had a little bit of an injury bug from a couple of the guys, too.
Yeah, we've dealt with some things. Again, not to get into all the specifics, but yeah, we have dealt with some things that maybe were unexpected going into this year. And yeah, that's another thing I talked to him about is as we get some guys back, and I mean, you've done it before. Like, we've got guys that were all conference ball players that that maybe aren't playing right now like they did a year ago, but it doesn't mean they lost it. I mean, it doesn't mean that they don't have the ability. We just, again, it's some mentality things. And again, it's I challenge them too. Like this is a tough part of the school year. This is a tough part, and I've fought this before, and spring sports are good and bad. Number one, they all got their physical, so I never have to deal with that like football does. They got all their forms signed, so I mean all that's out of the way. But the end is in sight, especially for seniors.
Yep.
And in the fall and in the winter, it's not. So not that they don't have other things, and I'm not saying that, but the end's in sight. The weather's getting warmer. Their friends are going out to do things. Baseball is an absolute grind and a war of attrition in terms of mentally, sleep, all that stuff, getting homework done, AP classes, finals, seniors turning the tassel, looking to summer work. I mean, there's a lot of things, and I'm not making any excuses, but I'm just saying that we fight that, and that's what I just told the kids. Keep showing up. This is a game. You seniors got 18 games guaranteed left. And with the rain we have, maybe less. And do it. You younger kids keep showing up for them, and you older kids keep showing up because this may be the last time you put a helmet and put a bat in your hand ever. And so just have fun doing it. And I think we did. We had a lot of fun. We're still, again, the dugout's great. They're a great group of guys that support each other. And we just need to win a ball game. We win a ball game, things can turn. Ethan had a great hit the other night, a triple, our first triple of the year. Hitting's contagious, energy's contagious. That was my practice plan Tuesday. Are you an energy giver or are you an energy taker? Like let's continue to be energy givers. Let's give energy and build each other up and continue to support each other and all that. So yeah, we're excited. Obviously, not the week we had hoped at this point, but we can turn it around here.
I was talking with Brian Lawler from Laville a little bit earlier today, and he's got a similar thing going on. It's like this our roster is better than we're playing. He says I can't, and that's got to be the most frustrating thing for a coach when you see things that maybe they don't, and getting them to either believe or find something they have.
Yeah, it is. And I said that about Laville after we beat them. I was just talking to someone last night about Laville who's in their conference. They were asking me about them, and I said, well, they are. I mean, if we played them again, I don't think they'd give up 19 runs. I mean, it was their early game, and it's just kind of like us sometimes going into playing some bigger schools. We're sometimes mentally already behind when we start the game. I thought that was the case with them too, that they kind of come into that game maybe and playing us and whatever. But I mean, it is tough to try to figure guys out. And that's the part of coaching that is a lot of behind the scenes stuff, the conversations I have with kids off the cuff and just in class and down the hallway. And they're kids first. There's a lot of things going on in their lives, and baseball's sometimes secondary. I just always say when you get to the park, just give me 2 hours, give me 3 hours. Just have fun. Just go out and do it for your teammates and be happy when someone succeeds other than you. I mean, be happy for people. And again, we don't have any of negativity or anything like that. It's just, again, trying to maybe find a way to get that one hit, that one extra base hit or that big hit, that clutch hit. That kind of just says to everyone, "Hey, we can do this," and doesn't matter who's at the plate at what time. We're gonna get it done, and we'll find it. It's like I said, it's in there somewhere. I know it is, and we had a good practice Tuesday. Even Monday, I thought we played well. I mean, yeah, going to Mishawaka is tough to start a conference season, but Nick pitched really well. We did some things that we needed to do. We had the one bad inning, but. Yeah, we're maybe not where I thought we'd be, but that doesn't mean that we really quickly can't get to where I know we can get to.
Looking at your numbers too, once again, I haven't seen you play for a while, but you're having another problem that every coach I've talked to so far this year in throwing strikes, the walks to strikeouts thing, and they're all the pitchers in at least in this area seem to be struggling with that. And do you think that can't be the weather, is it? I mean, what do you think it is?
Yeah, I don't know. I have thought that too in my mind. Like, what could that be? I mean, we tried to really just throw the ball down the middle. I mean, until you can do that, I don't know. I think part of it too, maybe that, and we do this sometimes, is we get on these kicks of wanting to throw multiple different pitches when we should just maybe settle into two. I mean, just get two good pitches where you can get some guys out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it has to do with the not playing much early and not being able to get outside. But again, I don't think that's an excuse. It's just maybe something to think about. But I think it'll come. I think again, Grady had a great outing. Grady's last two outings are actually really good. Nick had a kind of his first full go against Mishawaka and gave us a lot. And again, the older some of our younger kids get, and I don't mean like just day wise, but just experience wise, I think the more comfortable they'll get to understanding that. I mean, if I throw down the middle, I mean, a ball in play is a lot of times an out. I mean, I got to be able to mix it up to the middle of the lineup. But some of the other guys in lineups, I mean, just throw down the middle and they'll hit into an out. We got a great defense. Like I said, we've been playing really good defense, especially our infield. And our outfields continue to come along. I thought the other night at Concord they caught some tough balls. Christian caught a ball on the wall and done some really good things as of late. So, you just keep pressing. Again, free bases we can't defend, so that's hard to. But nonetheless, I'll take a lot of free bases. I'll continue to take them. I hope we figure it out. No one else does, but we'll see.
You got a killer coming up too. I mean, you have Warsaw tonight. We're talking on Friday afternoon. Obviously, LaPorte tomorrow morning, and then 3 more conference games next week. The only good thing is 2 of them are at home, but Goshen is playing extremely well. Northwood is Northwood. I mean, you got a killer 4 or 5 games here in a row.
We do. That's why I mentioned it's Warsaw's not going to come in and see that we lost 2 in a row and take it easy on us. I told the kids that. So yeah, we gotta figure it out and compete. I mean, that's really all it comes down to, is just competing and believing you can win and showing up. I mean, that's just one pitch at a time. I know it's cliche and everyone uses it, but in all honesty, it's if I can just execute this pitch and then execute the next one. And that's why I told the kids, I'm not worried about anyone beyond the first pitch of Warsaw. Can Landon Tyler execute his first pitch against the Warsaw Tigers on Friday? That's all I care about. And then the next pitch. So I think when you continue to focus on the process and not the outcome, then it usually takes care of itself. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. That doesn't mean that the process isn't going to have some hiccups and we got to figure some things out. But that doesn't mean that you abandon the process and you just start playing for yourself and worrying about how many hits I'm getting. So I think we just continue to do that. And yeah, I mean, Goshen obviously kind of banking on the success of last year and a great basketball season, and they're playing very well. Northwood probably off to a little bit better start than I assumed based on what they lost last year, but yeah, they're always tough. And then obviously, yeah, Warsaw LaPorte. I mean, Scotty does a great job, and Warsaw's got quite a bit back. They're probably they're 2-4, so they're probably thinking they're underachieving this year based on what they had coming back. But nonetheless, I mean, we beat Goshen twice last year. We beat Northwood twice last year, and we return a lot of guys too. So just continuing to get them to believe and continue to improve, and that's really all we can do at this point.
Well, man, I want to thank you as always for taking the time. I'll get off of your phone here and let you go watch it rain, and
see what we can do.
And good luck to you over the next week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, appreciate it, Rusty. Thank you.
And it's Ryan Wolf, head coach at Plymouth. And we're joined by Aaron Perch, the head coach of the Bremen Lions. And last time we talked, man, You hadn't played a game yet, but you came out of the chute pretty hot.
Yeah, I guess the trade-off of not playing is the guys were chomping at the bit to get on the field, and so when we finally did get between the lines, they were ready to roll. And I mean, offensively, we've been ripping the ball, so hopefully we can keep that mindset going forward.
I was going to say you are every top to bottom. You're hitting the ball. I mean, I know it's only 3 games in, but at 3 straight games, that's a trend.
Yeah, that's probably been the most eye-opening thing. In years past, we've had a pretty good top half of the order, and in the off season, we did a ton of live at bats in the gym and the cage, and the goal was to be more dangerous 1 through 9. No free outs, no easy outs through the order, and so far it's worked out pretty well for us. But everyone knows how our game goes, ups and downs. You got to be ready for the downturn at some point.
Who have you been most impressed with? Is there anybody that maybe has surprised you a little bit by how much they've improved or how well they're doing right now?
I got to give a lot of credit to our senior center fielder, Corbin Van Vuren. He played JV the last 3 years. He was kind of blocked on the roster. Last year we had a kid named Preston Williams who was all conference in center, and Corbin just stayed the course with the JV for 3 seasons. And now out of the gate this year, we put him in the leadoff spot, and he's really replaced Preston's production, at the plate and in the field. And, he never complained once. He put his head down and just worked at it. He gave his all to the JV, and, it's paying dividends now. And a kid like that is when you're getting rained out the entire month of April, you feel bad he's going to miss his senior year after sacrificing 3 years with the JV. And so really all of our seniors have really stepped it up, but for him to take advantage of that opportunity in the limited window, I think says a lot about him.
I was going to say, you got a lot of guys back. I mean, some of them probably, it's no surprise, they've been waiting to get this senior year.
Yeah, that's right. I'm getting PTSD at school in the afternoons when the clouds roll in at this point. But, those seniors, I think it's paid off having some of that experience. In our game last night with Jimtown coming back down 6 or 7 runs throughout, having a more veteran, experienced team knowing to stay the course and just keep doing what makes us successful.
Talk about your off season a little bit. I mean, a lot of guys. Well, I mean, it's becoming more and more important every year to get that work in the off season. How do you felt it went?
I'm sorry, Russ. You're cutting out a little bit in the
Oh,
school
I'm
here. Could you repeat the question?
Sure. Talk a little bit about your off season. I mean, it's important now. I mean, more than it ever has been. Everybody spends time in the off season. How did it go for you guys in the winter?
Yeah, we're really fortunate. We don't have a ton of guys who play multiple sports. And so once that limited contact window opened, we were pretty consistently getting 15 to 20 guys at our winter workouts. And it's limited space in the gym, but I feel like our guys did a great job making the most of it. And we tried to be really intentional about more live at bats and live as much as you could do live reps in the gyms rather than just throwing batting practice or front tossing. And it might have made them a little uncomfortable in the winter. You're in gym A, sweating, someone's throwing bullets at you in the cage. But you hit the field then, and I think they could fall back on that experience rather than just kind of coasting through the off season. We tried to make it more of a program where they'd have to battle through some challenges.
It sounds like you had a really good plan going into the off season.
A lot of the framework was kind of laid by Coach Carpenter before me. And, we've had, Coach Carpenter step down and spend more time with his family, but we brought back the entire rest of the coaching staff. And so there was, a lot of continuity. Didn't feel like we had to tear the whole thing down from day one, just keep building on some of the stuff that had been, put in place the previous few years. And, your previous point, returning so many seniors and juniors that had already been through that program once, they kind of set the expectation for everyone else coming in.
Talk about that a little bit too. I mean, your first year at head coach, has it been what you thought it would be? Is anything a little bit maybe different than you thought it was going to be?
Ran our JV team a couple of years, so it's nice to have a little bit of experience, running a team and being the point man for it. But I was joking with the assistant coaches. I'll go back and watch the game tape on Game Changer and say, I don't remember that happening in the game. And so I think I'm still blacking out a little bit during the action. But again, Ryan was a great role model the last couple of years, and coached for Chad Gerard when he was here. He's the head coach at Northridge now. And so think those guys did a good job, not just throwing me with the JV and forgetting about it, but mentoring and showing the right way to do things. And so, give some credit to them. And our seniors have made it really easy too, Rusty. They're really, really serious about this next month of baseball and making the most of it before they graduate.
Every coach wants to put a stamp on a team. I'm sure you mentioned two really good coaches that came before you, and you had a chance to learn under them. What kind of things do you think you might do differently than they did?
That's a good question. Hate to think of it as doing it differently, but I didn't grow up in the northern Indiana area. I played baseball in the southwest Chicago suburbs. My high school coach was a guy named Paul Babcock, and he was just really big on your actions kind of set the tone in terms of hustling, throwing the ball hard, being aggressive, and going to bed at night. Not wishing you did something else. You'd rather have the regret of something you did in the game than thinking you left something on the table. And so, I think just trying to establish a culture of, like I said, hustling. It's taking the little things seriously. It's not always about hitting the walk-off single and getting the Facebook post, but all the stuff within the game that gets you to that point, and getting our kids to kind of recognize, in a baseball team, everyone has a role on it, whether it's the position you play or your voice in the dugout or just your disposition at practice. Getting our guys to be serious about baseball and not just see it as we're in spring sports now, but this is something we care about and realize how unique of a game it is compared to the other high school sports.
Talk about the challenge too at the beginning. I mean, first year coach, you're trying to, not like you're trying to learn who you got. I mean, you've been around these guys, but then you spend the first 3 weeks of the season watching it rain. I mean, how do you deal with that as a coach, keeping your guys focused and keeping them ready to go when, it's going to break sometime. We're going to get to play. And it seems like you did a good job of keeping them staying the course.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when the moratorium hits in July, I am going out into nature and figuring this thing out. But it does get tough, looking them in the eyes day after day. Hey, guys, guess what? We're not playing again. But, I guess there's really nothing I've changed or said differently. We've just tried to manage our practice time, even when we do get canceled, making use of our school facility. We got batting cages in the gym, or even just getting out to the field and using the outfield grass. And just keeping baseball as part of the daily routine and not just saying, okay, we're canceled today, let's all go home and call it quits, but it's keeping them in that headspace of being ready to play.
We talked about your hitting a little bit earlier. Let's talk about your pitching, because it doesn't look like you're missing much there either. I mean, what I'm looking at statistics-wise is you've gotten a lot of people out there early, and that's kind of, honestly, you just got to get them out there and get them throwing.
Yeah, right. That was part of the challenge not having the games is when you do play. A couple of our games, we've had the same guy start and finish it. But I think we have a lot of depth with our pitching staff, and the challenge I've given them is who's going to emerge as the guys getting the ball in conference games. Our junior class really has a plethora of different styles of pitchers, and so kind of like where we're at, both this year and going forward on that front. And I'll give a lot of credit to our JV coach as well, Zach DeBates. He runs kind of the pitching staff for us and does a great job working with the younger pitchers, in his games when they're freshmen and sophomores, kind of, building up the traits that make you a varsity pitcher. So as those guys are transitioning up to the varsity junior, senior year, they're coming in with a lot of innings under their belt already. What's undone us a few times here is just throwing strikes. We knew in the off season that we're not going to be a pitching staff to blow teams away with our stuff. We got to keep them guessing and nibble at the zone. Where we run into some trouble is when guys think they start blowing guys away with their stuff, like I said, and then you're missing the zone, hitting guys, and putting traffic on the bases.
And that is the thing with pitching, especially. I mean, you can throw indoors off a mound wherever you're throwing. But until you're throwing, there's no substitute for throwing in a game to a live hitter, and you've got to stay sharp.
And just depth perception and everything. We had him thrown in the gym in those narrow batting cages, and you get on the field and you see the crowd behind it, and it's a totally different ball game.
How do you keep them sharp? I mean, if they're not getting innings, I mean that you're going to have trouble throwing strikes.
Yeah, two guys we threw last night in relief against Jimtown hadn't pitched at all this season. They'd thrown their bullpens and been on schedule, but that was the first time they'd, taken the hill. And, I'll give credit to a lot of our younger catchers, too. There was nights where they'd be squatted down for an hour just catching seniors and, putting their body on the line and realizing, that's part of what makes the whole group successful. Most of our pitchers are also position players, too, and so they do get some of their work in, just keeping their arms fresh from kind of the routine fielding stuff. I guess that is a benefit being the smaller school, is you have some positional crossover there.
And I got to think maybe it helps having a veteran catcher, too, who knows what he's doing back there, and he's been around those guys, and that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've probably gone too far into this phone call without giving Zach Rauch some credit, being a 4-year starter at catcher. Same theme, making my life easy, a senior that just takes it upon himself to kind of micromanage the guys on the mound.
Yeah, having that guy back there knows what's going on, too. I think it really makes everybody better. Your fielders better, everybody.
All right. If you ever watch our games after every between innings warm up, he gets the group together on the mound and has a very intentional conversation with them, not just, high-fiving and running back, but actually, going over what the plan for the inning is. And, he's that's on his own initiative. That's not something we asked him to do.
Talk about, as you're moving forward here, I mean, you couldn't have started much better. Three conference games to open the season. Right. You're unbeaten in the conference, which that's a huge start. Do you feel good about where you're at? Are you ahead of the curve, behind the curve? I mean, where do you feel you are right now?
Yeah, I guess every day is kind of a new story with baseball, and obviously this thing is going to turn into a grind at some point in May if the weather holds up. With all these cancellations, we're going to be basically a Major League Baseball team the last month of the year. Yeah. And so, all things considered, if you zoom out and 2 months ago told me we'd be 3-0 on the first 3 games and 40-something runs in conference, I'd be elated. I told the guys last night, though, we we're able to come through with the win against Jimtown, but I have a laundry list of things that we did that put us in a spot where we, a pitch away from losing that game. And so, anyway, I'll tell you, staying humble, not getting too high, not getting too low, and realizing that, the next opponent on the schedule is the most important one. We've kind of taken this mantra of every day is opening day because our opening day got taken away from us so many times. And so kind of capturing that feeling, which it'll be a challenge for the guys, especially as we start getting all these consecutive games. But again, being a pretty veteran, senior heavy team, I think that's a challenge that they've been preparing for these last couple of years.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. And I know we've got you on the air here a little bit later in the month. And I'll be checking in with you every now and then, if that's okay.
Absolutely, Rusty. I really appreciate you calling.
That's Aaron Perch, the head coach of the Bremen Lions. And Rick Stiles joins us, the head track coach at Plymouth. Man, you got your girls going, dude. You're unbeaten in so far, and I just saw the other night you beat Concord and Northridge in a dual meet. You beat Warsaw earlier. What a great start to your year!
Yeah, the girls have just put in so much work, and we're feeling very good. We're happy, humble. There's still more work to do, but it's been a great start. So I think the parents, the team, and the coaches were extremely happy.
Let's talk about this a little bit from the perspective of, I remember talking to you a couple of years ago, how you thought this group was going to be special, this group of seniors, and they have turned out to be just that.
Yeah, the senior night, I mean, right after the meet, I mean, it was great to hear that we got the double dub. Trust me, I was stressing for the senior night piece. It gets rained out, then we had to do take 2, but Concord and Northridge, they have great coaches, great athletes, but it just came down to it when we got on there. We had some girls that took care of business in our 4x4. They went out there, and I thought Northridge, they put a pretty good crew out there, but man, they did their job. And if the meet was on the line, they won it anyways. So they just made sure that they were ready to go. And if it came down to it, we did our job.
You've got girls that are setting records. You've got girls that are, I mean, you're just, this has just been one of those seasons. And I know when I talked to you earlier, you were very conservative, Rob, but I get the feeling that even as the year was starting, you had a feeling that this was going to be a special season.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, this very special senior group. Daisy Van Meter goes out there, throws a 19-foot PR in discus. This was her second consecutive meet that she PR'd. Jersey goes out there, gets second place. I think she tied for second, 5 foot. It's her highest this year. She's went 5.2 before, I think even her injury, and then runs an incredible 4x1 leg for that relay that, you know, that had also Alana Allen Sr., Catherine Morrison Sr., and Hayden Shipley, a freshman. Then you go, Lauren Gertner ran a great legs in the 4x8, 4x4, ran a very solid 800. Ava Lloyd, just it's like a Swiss Army knife. We had her in so many different things. She tried out pole vault, cleared the opening height on that for the first time. And she ran a great, she ran a PR in the 100. I mean, she is just another dynamic person. So all of our seniors, they just came to compete. They just don't like to lose. And another thing, you know, so they wanted to run a 4x4 at the end of the meet, the seniors. So we got them in there, and they all ran incredible. But the funny thing of it is, like, Jersey, she has an open event. So does Alana. Jersey goes out there, and I'm pretty sure she split a 62 or a 63, smiling, of course. And she goes, Styles, I think I have more in the tank. So this gave us another option. Like, when it comes down to it, I mean, those girls, I think you saw it, 21st best time in a 4x1. Our 4x4 or 4x8, they have the 20th fastest in the state. And our 4x4, they're on the cusp. But I think they can even go down a little further. We could have 3 relay teams. If everything is right, we could send 3 down to the state and just relays too. So it's been incredible.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because, you know, you're about not quite halfway through your year. You're just in that vicinity, and you're already running some of those best times. And honestly, short of, well, knock on wood, I'll find some wood to knock on. Short of injury, those times are only going to get better.
Yeah. I mean, like, when us coaches were sitting there and we're talking about some things, you know, Curtis talking about the 4x8, he goes, hey, Rick, I think we do this. We could do it. They ran a 10:02. Northridge got some incredible, you know, distance girls, just like we do. And that was such a good race. But our 4x1, the best is yet to come. But 3 straight meets, they keep lowering the bar. They cut 0.7 of a second off, not 700s, but 0.7 of a second in this last race. And our 4x4, their times are creeping down, and we have depth of 8 runners that we can plug and play in there. And I still think their times, that we're going to get pretty close, if not break our school record in that one. But I think they can get really close to that 4-minute barrier that's been, like, out of the loop for Plymouth for a very, very long time.
We've mentioned a lot of names so far. We haven't even started talking about your younger girls, but I talked with Livy Miller a little bit earlier tonight. And, you know, I mentioned the fact that, you know, in track, if you're in a sport like softball or basketball or whatever, you know, there's that team camaraderie element. You're all working together. But she felt like the team aspect, the team chemistry thing with you guys was better than in a team sport. She felt like there was a lot of that going on. And I got to feel like a lot of your girls that chemistry is helping them.
Yeah, like our captains that we have, and I mean, probably some compared to the other sports, we have quite a bit, but we have a big team, and it covers all the different disciplines in there. You know, the hurdles, the sprints, the distance, and our field events. They have been incredible. We had a team meeting about going over team expectations. Hey, I said, I'd like to talk about this, so I shared it with them. We go in there, and guess what? They go, Styles, I got this. And they take turns, and they delivered it probably a little tougher than I would have. But man, like you said, that chemistry and what the team feels and, doing things for each other. I agree with what our Vivi said about that. It's just, we're just blessed to have that. And the coaching staff has been incredible too. So just so thankful for that.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because you have a kind of a unique coaching thing going on there with you and Curtis. I mean, you have like a team coaching for both teams, and it's got to be useful. Curtis obviously knows a lot about distance, and you've got some elements there that I think probably help you out a lot too, that you're able to draw on other coaches' experiences.
Yeah, we had a coaching thread on text messages. We're just bouncing ideas off back and forth, But like you were saying, like a couple of years ago when we were separated, man, it's like, man, we have to come up with these plans for every single thing. And it can be done, but man, we are just not giving, I think, the full capabilities of what the girls could do with someone that is more of an expert in certain parts of track and field. So it is, man, like Sophie Ray, Vivi Miller, on and on with the distance. And now we got Brooklyn Scruggs getting ready to scratch that as well. It's just paid off dividends. Our 4x8 just every year, it just keeps getting better and better. And then I could go on about the other coaches too. It's just been really good to have all that together. And I think the girls and the boys side, they see how the coaches work together, and it's paid off.
You mentioned some of your younger girls. I mean, Brooklyn Scruggs, obviously. You've got a lot of freshmen, a lot of younger girls. And looking at it program-wise, as the guy who's responsible for it overall, you got to feel really good about not just this year, but the future, because you've got a lot of young talent that is learning from older talent, and that's how you build a program.
Yeah. We're going to miss the senior group. And I think I said it before, like this freshman group, they remind me so much about them. But, today I get to do announcing for the 7th and 8th grade at Lincoln. I was so thrilled that Greg Miller said, hey, we got this opportunity. So I got to see some of my former, not only students, but man, the future of the program for both the boys and girls. And man, there's another great class coming up into this 8th grade group that I think is going to complement the team we'll have coming back next year. But that's like looking fast forward. I kind of want to stay dialed in to but like last year we did our first ever youth camp too. So there's just so many moving parts to develop culture and program. And I think we've done a really good job probably the last 5 or 6 years to make that, and we're seeing the results of it on the track. And especially this season, we're just thrilled that everything has come together, and they're just doing their best.
How do you feel about where you're at right now? Are you ahead of where you thought you might be? I mean, I know you knew it was going to be a one of those years that was going to be special, but are you where you thought you'd be at this point? Are you ahead? Are you behind? I mean, where do you think you are right now?
I knew that Warsaw meet was just going to be a battle, and it was. I mean, I think time-wise, I think there's certain pieces that I think the girls are happy where we're at. I think we're at the right point, but there's going to be, it's so tough when you get in the season to have another practice session when we get into the busy sessions about, hey, we had a dual meet, then we have an invite. But I think we're right where we need to be. And, we've been talking with the other coaches. We got some plans to continue that growth and the times and the distances, whether we trim the times on the running events and we continue to just build on our field events I still think they have so much potential to take their stuff up to the next level as well.
You feel you're ahead in the track events or the field events? I mean, obviously your field event people are doing really well.
Yeah, the field events, I think there's just so much more that I think we're going to see from them. I think a little bit, I think the sprints, the times we're seeing, I could say that they're ahead, but I'm not surprised by it because the girls, they're just the multi-sport athletes. They've come and they're very conditioned, and the ones that weren't, then the ones that went in and they came in during winter conditioning, they are thriving. And so when I say, hey, are we ahead in the running events? Yes, to a point, but am I surprised with some of these great times we're seeing? No. So I think we're very happy with what we're seeing.
I know I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about Alana and whether she was healthy, and I think she answered that question the other night. I set part of a team that set a school record and that set 2 school records herself. I mean, she's got to feel pretty good about the senior year she's having.
Yeah, I think it was a great moment for her to break Allie Burrows' 100-meter record. She was so close her freshman year, but she definitely nailed that one, and their 200 time was incredible. But that group of 4, that 4x1, Alana had a great night, especially on senior night. So we were just so happy that she got a chance that everybody got to see how great a young lady she is, and then how her performances were. So we are just thrilled with everybody, from her to Jersey to Vivi. It was just on and on and on. Yeah. And man, Eva Macy had her 300-meter hurdle time was her second best ever. And this is so early. So we are on pace with her she's got goals. And I think that was great. And then she ran an incredible anchor leg in that 4x4.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. As always, good luck to you as you continue down the road here, and we'll catch up here in a week or two and see how you guys are doing.
Sounds good, Rusty. Thanks so much for having us again.
That is Rick Stiles, the head girls track coach at Plymouth. And it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week, given in honor of the longtime Marshall County and Max 98.3 broadcaster who died suddenly a little over a year ago and long before his time in any case. The legacy he had to his craft, his work ethic, and especially devotion to the athletes and the coaches in this area is never going to be matched. That's the legacy that we try to honor each week with this award. And we'll tell you who this week's award winner is right after this message from Johnson Danielson.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has proudly served the Plymouth community since 1879. Today, our dedicated team continues a tradition of compassionate care supporting families throughout Marshall County. Whether you're planning ahead or honoring a loved one, Johnson Danielson offers a range of personalized options, from burial and cremation packages to flexible pre-planning solutions and helpful planning checklists. This is Jamie Beckwith. Our experienced and caring staff are available for you 24 hours a day, ready to guide you every step of the way. Simply call 574-936-2829. To learn more about our services, visit johnson-danielson.com. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home, service beyond the expectation.
And our winner this week is Alana Allen, the senior sprinter on the Plymouth High School's undefeated, I should say, girls track team. And she had a kind of a nice day the other day. Same meet, broke 3 school records. She broke her own record in the 200 with a 25.95. She broke a record held since 2002 in the 100 with a 12.38. And then for the second time this year was part of the 4x100 relay team as they broke their record again for the second time this season. So Alana Allen, 3 school records in 1 meet, and she'll receive a certificate, history of the award, a T-shirt commemorating the achievement, also be a future guest on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Alana will be eligible for the Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award this spring, which carries with it a plaque, a college scholarship, compliments of Max 98.3, and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home.